Daisy Fuentes, who started as a model and became famous as the first Latin American DJ on MTV, has parlayed her popularity into success as a clothing designer.
You don't have to spend $1 million to look like $1 million.
Fitness guru.
Exercise as much as possible.
Author, role model for women.
I've always been fascinated by that one girl that can walk into the room and capture everyone's attention.
And as a spokesperson for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We met on the terrace of our office in Manhattan.
Great to see you, Bill.
Thank you so much for being on our show.
Of course.
And actually, on behalf of everybody of my generation, we have a little something for you.
I love that.
What else? A bouquet of daisies.
My favorite.
Let's talk.
Thank you.
Daisy and I sat down at the design studio where she works in her clothing and accessories line to discuss what's driving Miss Daisy.
Isn't it great?
I want to talk a little bit about fame. Do you think that with fame there comes a measure of responsibility to give back?
With fame, there's really not much responsibility. However, I believe that as a human being, we have a responsibility to give back and to be of service and to help one another. I think it is our responsibility as human beings with one another.
How has your notoriety enabled you to do, say, more than what the average person might be able to do?
Yeah, I guess what fame has enabled me to do is to give me a voice. I've used my celebrity to call attention to causes that are important to me, and that's something that I consider a privilege. You know, not so much a responsibility, but it is a privilege that comes with what I do. I can call a press conference, I can have an event, and I can get the word out about something that is important in a much shorter period of time than perhaps the average person can, and that's wonderful. It was a great moment when I discovered in my career that is something that I could do.
I want to talk about the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. But let's just go back. Over the years, what are some of the causes that you've just carried a torch for? Because you've been very zealous in that regard.
You know, that you get so many opportunities to help in many different ways, and you want to help I mean, there's so many amazing organizations out there that you really want to do as much as you can. But I find that you have to kind of put your focus into a couple of things, otherwise you're all over the place and really serve no purpose to any of them. Things near and dear to my heart, anything that empowers women, anything that helps women or children. Especially breast cancer research is something that I am a great champion for, and anything that I can do, I will.
Early detection, right?
Early detection and research is very important to me. My mom is a breast cancer survivor, so there's a personal connection there. And just as women, I think that we've gone through a lot, and it's time to find a cure. Let's just find the cure. That's what I'm all about. And of course, the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. You know, it's children, it's kids. They should not suffer. We should not be losing our children because of illness at such a young age when they're still just little angels. So to find a facility, to find an organization that is so phenomenal and above and beyond anything that I've ever seen. You know, when I visited the hospital, I just made a vow to myself to do anything that I could to get the word out to people about what I had witnessed.
You made a vow to yourself to get the word out to anybody about what you witnessed. Why?
Because I was so impressed by the work that they do. I was so impressed by the stories of the families, and I was so saddened to know that we are still losing children. As much progress as we have made, and as many wonderful cures that have come out of the Children's Research Hospital, we're still losing children.
What do you do? What do you do for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital?
What I do is anything that I can. You know, the real heroes are obviously the volunteers, the folks, the research doctors, the nurses, everyone who is working with the kids there, the people who have devoted their lives to preserving the St. Jude Children's Research Hospital and allowing it to grow every day more and more. Those are the real heroes. However, all I can do is let people know what I have seen. I've been to the hospital. I see what they do. I've spoken to the families. I've met the children. And it is a phenomenal organization. And I tell people not to take my word for it. Go online, do your own research. Listen to the stories that the families have to say. Look into the eyes of the children. And you will soon realize that this is an organization that you will be happy to help in any way that you can.
I also heard that you host an event in Miami every year for them.
Yeah, well, you know
What is that?
what I had done is I would just support the hospital and the cause by attending some of their events that they had in Beverly Hills and elsewhere. I'd visited the hospital. I'd spoken to Marlo Thomas and got to know a little bit about her passion to keep her father's legacy alive.
Danny Thomas,
Yes,
who actually...
Danny Thomas was the founder. And I was just, so impressed with it all. And I thought, my God, you guys do such an amazing job with these fundraisers. You go to so many events where you find that, okay, yeah, this is a great event, but you can kind of see the money that you've spent putting this together. You could have really just gone right to the organization. But the way they do it, they put up these amazing, lavish events that actually raise millions and millions of dollars. They bring out the top people everywhere, people who are reaching in their pockets, people who are letting other people know that it costs more than $1 million a day to keep this hospital going, and they rely mostly on public donations. So I just thought, these events that you put together are so amazing. Why don't we have one in Miami, a big gala fundraiser aimed a little bit more towards the Latin community? I know we've got some very generous people in my community that would love to be a part of this. And it started as something very small about 7 years ago and has grown every year more and more. And I'm the celebrity chair for that event. I'm very proud to be.
Well, that's good. You ignited that. You have a big line of clothing and accessories. What's the philosophy behind that?
If I had to say there was a philosophy, it would probably be you don't have to spend $1 million to look like $1 million.
Exhibit A?
Yeah, I love fashion, and my collection is not a junior line. It is for women who know their style, who understand their lives, and who want to look great without spending a fortune, who have a busy life, the woman who wants to look good going from the office to dinner, from the office to cocktails. You don't have time to do everything that you do. You just want to look fabulous all the time, and you know where you want to spend your money, and you don't want to have to choose between your mortgage or a handbag.
No.
That just should not happen.
Particularly not these days.
Exactly.
No, but what really impresses me is if I look at your career, a weather girl on a little station in New Jersey,
Yeah.
a model, then on to MTV as a VJ, and you've really built an empire, in a way, a business empire. What do you have inside you that's made that happen for you?
That's a good question. I've never been asked that question. What do I have inside me? I think it's maybe what I don't have, and that's a whole lot of ego. And I say that because it's important to realize that you don't know it all. Especially when it comes to business, it is very important to know who you associate yourself with, because those are the people that are going to help you through the areas that you don't know about. Those are the people that are going to teach you what you need to know regarding whatever business it is that you're going into. So I thank goodness that I've been able to find the right partners. I have amazing partners. I have a brilliant design team that I work with. I have great partners in Kohl's, which is essentially my home for my fashion line, my manufacturing partners, and it would be silly for me to think that I could do it all, that everything that I have to bring to the table is what has to be. Some things that I've brought to the table have been wrong. I have been educated. What I have to offer is my fashion sense, my love and knowledge of fashion. The entertainment industry, these are things that I know about. And when you put these two things together, when you put my style, my love for style, and the knowledge and expertise of my partners, and there's a real respect for each other, you've got a winning combination.
But, for many people to accomplish something, going from point A to B, there are fears, there are risks,
Yes.
there's fear of failure. How do you feel about having passed through the fear, the failure, and the risk?
If you risk nothing, you get nothing. Of course, you've got to take a risk, but you just have to be sure that you believe in what it is that you're doing. You have to believe and understand, and your truth is different from everybody else's. You have to stick to what's right for you. In this business, everybody's very quick to tell you, oh no, this is what you should do, and this is what that person is doing, and you have to match the success of that other person. It doesn't matter. You have to follow your gut, your instinct. You have to take the advice of the people that you hire to give you that advice, the people that you work with. And it would be foolish for anybody to think that they know everything and that, you know, what you want to do is the only way to do it. You have to be open. You have to be willing to take risks.
All right, let's say there's somebody watching right now. They've hit a dead end in their career. They need to reinvent yourself. You've reinvented yourself beautifully. What do you want to say to that person about the first thing or the second thing they need to do to get moving? They're stopped.
Well, I think the first thing you need to do is forget that you've hit a wall. Get that thought out of your mind. Because the minute you believe that you're a failure or you failed at something, then that's what it is and that's what you are. So the first thing I would say is rearrange your thoughts and change your mind and the way you think and feel and believe about yourself and where you are and where you're going. What happened in the past happened in the past. If something didn't work out in the past, forget about it. It's in the past. It doesn't matter right now. The future doesn't yet exist. All that matters is right now and where you're at right now. So if you believe that you're a failure right now, that's what you are. If you believe that today is an opportunity to start something new and you go in it with a positive attitude and a winning attitude, then I believe you've got half the battle fought right there.
Such a wonderful answer. You know, I was just thinking, last time we saw each other was 10 years ago. Would you have had any idea 10 years ago that you would have done all the things you've done since then?
I would not. No, I had no idea. Are you kidding me? I'm an MTV VJ. You know, I was just happy to have a gig. I was on TV, for God's sake, interviewing rock stars. There was nothing better than that. But life is full of surprises, you know, and I always tell people, if you're gonna dream, dream big, because for me, what life had in store for me was bigger than any dream I had for myself, you know, and I think that one thing that helped me is that I really didn't have a big vision of the future. I really always lived in the moment. So I didn't plan ahead I just hoped to be working and enjoying myself and to be happy. I always just wanted to stay in the business. You know, it's such an up and down type of business. 1 minute you're working, the next minute you're not.
Show business?
Show business.
Tell me about it.
I mean, come on.
But you know, you said something twice now in the course of this interview that's impressive to me. You said about being in the moment.
Yeah.
This is one of the most difficult things in the human condition, actually.
Absolutely.
If you're in the moment, you're not ruminating about the past and you're not worrying about the future. How do you keep yourself in the moment, in the present?
It's really difficult. It's something that you have to work at every moment. You have to catch yourself drifting away. You have to catch yourself thinking about the past. You have to catch yourself focusing on the future. And I have been doing that more and more and more, where I catch yourself. When you catch yourself, you realize that you're not living, that you're not in the moment. You're missing out on whatever it is that you're doing. All we have right now is this moment. So let's make the most of it and enjoy it, because this is what we have.
You and I are very much in the same point. I find if I say to myself, what is my relationship with myself right now? That kind of takes me in.
Yeah, and if we think about it right now, how lucky are we? How fortunate are we?
Attitude of gratitude.
You've got this great show that you're doing. You've been doing this for so long. I mean, what's there not to be?
I got to get it right, finally. I've been doing it for so long.
You've been getting it right.
No,
Look at you. I've
you.
known you, well, like you said, we did the interview 10 years ago. And you just had a great attitude. You still have a great attitude. That's why you're still working, doing what you love, and that's important. And how fortunate am I to have a product that I can sit here and talk to you about?
Gratitude.
It's
very
gratitude,
important.
and it's being in the moment. It's the only thing that matters.
A couple other things. Tell me, like, just stream of consciousness, what you remember from the MTV days. There must be times when it just, oh, wow, that was fun. Just let it roll for a few seconds.
That was fun. My first MTV Video Music Awards show. I was like a kid in a candy store, but at the same time felt really out of place. I remember being thrown next to Steven Tyler for an interview, and I was so in shock and so in awe that I was just standing next to him that I couldn't get a word out.
Did he give you a kiss with a...
He kind of did something in my neck because he noticed that I was very nervous, and he just wanted to make me more nervous. So he was kind of breathing in my neck, but it's a nice memory. Just
A couple more.
Yeah, the butterflies. A couple more. Oh, the first rock in Rio. Going to Rio de Janeiro for this huge event at one of the biggest stadiums in the world with some of the top rock stars in the world. That was quite a moment. Traveling the world, getting to know the world at such a young age is such a learning experience.
You still connected to music? You know, Green Day is composing a musical for Broadway.
Yeah.
So rock and roll is still really out there. What are you listening to? What's on your iPod these days?
What's on my iPod? Yeah. Oh goodness, I'm loving bossa nova. I love Brazilian music. I love some old school stuff. You know, I have some classic George Michael, Sade, some old disco, and I've got some great classic rock and roll, some Latin music. I have a whole playlist of Latin music, and that includes some reggaeton, which I love. I've got a little bit of everything. And that was one of the things that got me my MTV job back in the day, was that I wasn't just about one genre. It wasn't like I was a fan of one particular thing, where a lot of the other VJs had their thing, whatever their thing was, whether it was the rock dude, the disco diva, or the alternative chick. I listened to top 40 radio. I listened to everything from like classic rock to disco, everything, Latin music. So in my interview for MTV, I knew a little bit about everything, and that was kind of different because everybody has their genre that they're an expert at.
You are in incredible shape, right?
Thank you.
I'm going to ask you for 3 tips on things that you do regularly that help you stay in shape.
I eat well.
Eat well, which means?
Eat really well. Really well. I don't diet. I eat really well. Healthy food, whole foods.
Sauce on the side.
Sauce on the side and barely touch it. Yeah.
No fried food.
Not really. No.
Eat
Very
well.
rarely. Eat well and exercise as much as possible.
All right. Tell us a little bit about your exercise routine. I mean, you have a Pilates video for sure.
Yes. Well,
why Pilates?
Pilates has been a part of my life since I discovered it maybe about, oh goodness, more than 10 years ago now, maybe like 13 years ago, or if not more. And I just realized that it's what gave me the most results in the least amount of time, and it made me feel good, and I've been doing it ever since. I endorsed a series of DVDs for my friend who I work out with, Mari Windsor, and it's something that is still part of my routine. To that, as the years go by, you have to add, because it's not that easy as the years go by, is it? So I like to hike, I like to play tennis, I have a trainer that comes to the house once in a while. I've just started yoga. So it's really about discovering new things that keep you going and that make you feel good, but never settling for just one thing. Or, the minute you stop moving, you stop moving.
Do you have to be in good shape to start with Pilates?
Oh, no.
I think people think Pilates, it's like unapproachable.
You could start at any level. And it's very easy to, you see the progress, you see the progress from one week to the next. If you really focus on it, it's something that you dedicate time to, you will see not only a change in your body, but in your ability to do things. And I think that as we get older, that's what's important, where in my 20s, I worked out for vanity because I wanted to lose a couple of extra pounds and look hot in the latest fashions. Now, well, I still want to look hot in the latest fashions, but my motivation is more about being healthy. I want to get into an older age and be able to have the freedom to move around and to be active. And it makes a big difference.
The secret will be, in order to get to an older, you're what, 42 now, right?
43.
43. In order to continue to progress and stay in shape, your plan is what?
My plan is to stay healthy, to eat well, and to continue to exercise and to be active.
Have a third tip? We had eat well, exercise regularly. Third tip for fitness?
Love. Love.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
I'm talking about feeling good. In order to look good, you can't have bad thoughts. If you have ugly thoughts, you will not be beautiful. I'm convinced of that. So I think you have to enjoy your life. You can't obsess too much about what you do to look good or to stay in shape. I think you must be happy. Find whatever it is that really makes you truly happy. And I think love is one of those things.
I'm feeling the love right now. This is good. Now, tell me what your intentions are with your new book. The book hits a lot of bases, right? What do you hope to do with the book?
Well, what I hope to do is maybe get women to take a really good hard look at themselves and to find out what it is that they can do to truly become that version of themselves.
The best version.
The best version of yourself that you could possibly be.
Well, this is Exhibit A. I mean,
Oh.
you are the best version of yourself,
I
or you wouldn't be
try.
able to write about it.
You know, it's a learning process, and I've had 20 years in this business to learn so much, and I've always been fascinated by that one girl that can walk into the room and capture everyone's attention.
Yeah.
And oftentimes it is not the most beautiful girl, the most famous girl, or the most fashionable girl. She's got this certain quality that everybody wants a little piece of. Is it something that you're born with, or is it something that you can attain? I believe it's something you can attain. And that's what the book is about all the things that I have learned in this business, all the things that I have learned from talking to some of the most brilliant, most unforgettable people that I have met.
Exhibit A, give me a couple people.
Oh God, you know, I can't think of any one person off the top of my head. There have been, you know, especially from my modeling days, there were some of the models that I'd met that had been doing it for a while that just had this composure, this great sense of self, confidence.
See, that's exactly, when you talk about that different person in a room full of people, I call that command posture, but what it really is belief in oneself. If you have enough belief in yourself, it radiates.
Yeah.
You see, if you've interviewed the big stars of the world, the ones who really climbed the mountains, whether in show business or in business, you sense that in them.
Absolutely, and it's not just that. It's not just about how they look. You can't really quite have that confidence unless you've got certain areas of your life in order. For example, you've got to know who you are spiritually. You've got to know who you are in your relationships. You've got to know who you are as a person. Maybe not necessarily what you like or want in life, but definitely what you don't like and what you don't want in life. You've got to kind of know how you want people to see you, how you want people to perceive you. And that's a lot easier said than done, to really find out who you are. I'm still finding out who I am, but I'll tell you something, I'm a lot more sure of who I am today than I was 20 years ago. So this is kind of the book that I've been looking for 20 years.
What was the dinner table like in the Fuentes household when you were 12 years old? On a typical night, what was going on around the table?
Oh, when I was 12, let's see, we were already in New Jersey, and it would have probably been, let's pick a day on the weekend when the grandparents would have been there. So it would have been my parents, my sister, me, and my grandparents. And everybody would probably be talking at the same time. The adults would be probably having wine, and I would be complaining about why I don't have wine. Oh, by the way, eventually my dad did give me a sip of wine, and it was awful, and I never asked for it again, which is probably a good thing that he did. He went,
Everybody
"Fine,
happy, or
yeah.
was everybody talking at the same time?
Yeah, happy. We were all together. It was good times.
Big energy.
Good times. My parents were really trying to find their way still in this country. They had only been here for a few years at that point. So they were just starting to settle in and make their way and gone through quite some struggles, you know, going from Cuba to Spain to New Jersey. But the family was together and we were happy. We were happy. It was good times.
That's not the normal route. Cuba, Spain, New Jersey. There's so many different ways. All right, one other thing. If you could magically be beamed up and beamed down anywhere in the world tonight for dinner, where would you like to be?
That's a tough question. There's so many great places. Oh, and you know that's one of my favorite things to do is to sit down for a magnificent dinner with some glorious wine and just have a tasting of everything that this great restaurant has to offer. But I guess, I don't know, I have to pick one that really stands out.
One.
It would have to be, there's a great restaurant in Ez.
Where?
Ez, E-Z-E. It's a little medieval town high up on top of the clouds just outside of Monaco. And it's part of a hotel called Chef de O. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I probably butchered the French there.
French food.
French Mediterranean. It's good food and spectacular views.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
You're a fitness expert. Give me one exercise that anyone can do sitting in a chair.
With your legs crossed like this, if they're crossed that way, you just kind of go the other way.
Right.
And pull yourself with the back of the chair, sit up really straight, and kind of turn your head completely to the other side.
Good.
And then you just do it to the other side. Sometimes you get a little crack.
This is good. This is Bill Boggs with Daisy Fuentes. Stretching for my generation. Thank you. I like that. Now I got to go the other way, right?
Go the other way.
Okay.